What if I told you that some of the world's best software teams at Google, Spotify, Amazon don't follow a rigid plan? They work in loops, short, focused, feedback driven loops. That system has a name: Scrum. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how it works. The roles, the events, the artifacts, the full sprint lifecycle. Let's get into it. Before we go deep, let's zoom out. Scrum has three moving parts: accountabilities, who does what; artifacts, what you're working on; and a time box called the sprint, where it all comes together. Three roles, three artifacts, one loop. That's the whole framework. Simple to understand, but let's see what's really happening inside each piece. The Scrum team is small, typically 10 people or fewer. No sub-teams, no hierarchy. Everyone's on the same level. And there are exactly three accountabilities: the product owner, who maximizes value; the Scrum Master, who enables the team; and the developers, who actually build the thing. Notice I say accountabilities, not job titles. Because in Scrum, it's about what you're responsible for, not your designation. The product owner, or PO, is one of the most misunderstood roles in Scrum. They are not a manager, they are not a client. They are the single voice that decides what the team builds next and why. They own the product vision, they prioritize the backlog, and they represent stakeholders. The key word: single. Having multiple product owners is one of the most common mistakes teams make. It kills the decision speed. Now, the Scrum Master is not a project manager. They don't assign tasks. They don't track everyone's hours. They are a servant leader. Their job is to make the team as effective as possible. They facilitate events, remove blockers, coach the team on self-management, and protect the Scrum process. If the developers are a race car, the Scrum Master is the pit crew keeping everything running. And then there are the developers, the people who actually build the product. In Scrum, developer doesn't mean programmer. It means anyone contributing to building the increment: designers, testers, analysts, whoever. What makes this role special? They are self-managing. No one tells them how to do their work. They pull items from the backlog, decide how to approach them, and own the outcome together. Scrum has 5 events, and they are not meetings for the sake of meetings. They are structured opportunities to inspect progress and adapt. The sprint is the container. It holds the other 4: Think of it like a week's worth of episodes inside a season. Sprint planning kicks it off. Daily Scrum keeps the momentum. Sprint review closes it out. Retrospective makes the next one better. Let's go through each. The sprint is the heartbeat of Scrum. It's a fixed time box, usually 1 to 4 weeks, inside which the team plans, builds, inspects, and adapts. One sprint ends, and the very next day another starts. No breaks, no gaps. This rhythm is deliberate. It creates predictability and focus. And every sprint is driven by a single sprint goal, one clear outcome the team is chasing. Every sprint starts with sprint planning, where the whole team answers 3 questions. Why is this sprint valuable? The product owner defines the objective. What can be done? Developers pick what they are confident they can finish. How will it get done? They break it into a concrete plan they own. This is where the sprint goal is born. A good sprint goal is like a North Star. It keeps the team aligned even when things get messy mid sprint. Every single working day, the developers get together for exactly 15 minutes, not to report to a manager, but to replan their own day. Are we on track for the sprint goal? What do we need to change? What's blocking us? That's it. Short, focused, developer owned. A lot of teams turn this into a status meeting, and that's where it goes wrong. We'll talk about that mistake later. At the end of the sprint comes the sprint review, and this is a conversation, not a presentation. The team shows what they built, stakeholders give feedback, and together they figure out what comes next. The backlog gets updated based on what was learned. This is where Scrum gets real. You're not just building in isolation, you're continuously getting feedback from the people who actually use the product. The final event of the sprint is the retrospective, and it's arguably the most powerful one. The team looks inward: what went well, what didn't, what are we going to do differently next sprint. The keyword is concrete, not vague reflections, but actual improvements that go into the next sprint. Teams that skip this event stop getting better. Teams that take it seriously compound their improvement over time. Now, let's talk about artifacts. The things that make work visible. Scrum has 3: the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the increment. Each one has a commitment attached to it: the product goal, the sprint goal, and the definition of done. These commitments are what stop the artifacts from just being lists. They give them purpose. The product backlog is a single ordered list of everything that might be needed in the product. Ordered, not just prioritized. The top items are the most refined, most urgent, most valuable. It's owned by the product owner and it never finishes. It evolves, as the product evolves. Backlog refinement is an ongoing activity where the team discusses, estimates, and clarifies items so they're ready to be pulled into a sprint. The sprint backlog is the developer's plan for the sprint. It contains the sprint goal, the items pulled from the product backlog, and the plan for how to deliver them. Here's what's important: it belongs entirely to the developers. The product owner doesn't add items mid sprint. The Scrum Master doesn't assign tasks. The developers own it, manage it, and adapt it as they learn. The increment is the output of each sprint, a working, potentially releasable slice of the product. Every sprint adds one increment on top of the last. So, the product grows sprint by sprint like floors added to a building. And every increment must meet the definition of done, which we'll look at next. The fact that it's potentially releasable is huge. It means the product owner can choose to ship it or not, but the option is always there. The definition of done, or DoD, is a shared quality checklist. What does done actually mean for this team? Code reviewed, tests passing, deployed to staging, accepted by the product owner. Until an increment meets the DoD, it's not done. It's just done ish. This shared standard is what makes trust. Stakeholders know that when the team says done, they mean it. No hidden debt, no half finished features. And here's the full picture: the complete Scrum lifecycle. Work starts in the product backlog. Sprint planning commits to a sprint goal. The sprint begins. Daily scrums keep it on track. The sprint review shows what was built. The retrospective improves the process. Then a new sprint begins immediately. This is an endless loop of inspect and adapt. It's not a one time project plan, it's a rhythm that keeps improving. How do you know if Scrum is working? You measure it. The sprint burn down shows how much work is left versus how many days remain. If you're burning down too slowly, something's wrong. Velocity tracks how much the team delivers per sprint, and trends matter more than single data points. Sprint goal achievement tells you how often the team hits their commitments. Use these as learning tools, not as weapons to judge performance. Here's what nobody tells you: Scrum is easy to implement poorly. Watch out for these anti patterns. First, the daily Scrum becoming a status report to management. That kills team autonomy. Second, the product owner being unavailable. Decisions pile up and the backlog stagnates. Third, sprint scope changing constantly. Mid sprint chaos destroys focus. Fourth, retrospectives with no follow through, all talk, no action. Fifth, Top down task assignment. If someone's telling developers what to do and how, it's not Scrum.